got some interesting things to talk about today. I was mulling over the weekend related to the story, so I'm excited to bring those up. But first, we've got some poll stuff to do. Alright, so here they are. You got your last chance to vote, everybody, if you haven't already, but we've got a fair amount of votes in. I think we can close this poll today because I think the votes are pretty clear for each one. What the winner is. Yeah, pretty easy actually which one's the winners. There's not one that's like spread out. It seems like we've got a clear winner for each. So what we're gonna do, you still got a chance to get votes in if you wanna. Where it's closing soon. Appreciate the reads. Oh, you're always welcome. Gotta pass the love on, and especially to those that are awesome. And I'm gonna do. I am actually gonna take a screenshot of this because I like to keep an archive of all our polls for evidence. Evidence of the results. So first of all, I'm going to do that, which means that's it now. Nobody can vote because we have got the I've already took the screenshot. Right, actually, how are we going to do this? Take a screenshot of those three and then of those bottom two. That will do. And I'll get up the screenshot in a sec and we'll look at it this way. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to make sure I've not missed anything because that'd be bad if I delete upon and then realised after I didn't screenshot it. So, I'll do double check. Right, so here we go. Let's delete it all then now. I probably shouldn't have deleted that. I should have kept that up, damn it. Well, okay, because that was a description of everything. I don't think I can undo in Discord, can I, once I've deleted something, which is, oh well. Delete. Okay, so that can go. That can go. Yeah, all the votes are still the same on here on the screenshot, so we don't have any extra ones, which seems a bit easier for us. Okay, so we're empty again on polls, so we'll be putting in our final one very shortly. And I'm going to keep this final poll with the title up all this week. So we get plenty of times to get more votes in. Lots of votes. Hi Van and Binary, how you doing? And Sorta, how are you guys doing? I'm just collecting up the votes for our polls. So and then we'll be putting up the final one. So it looks a bit of a mess. I want to align it better, but for now we'll just keep it like this. 1 sec. I'm going to just make sure it's saved. was your weekend, those of you that are just popping in? How did it go? Okay, so that's save now. Its paint's been a bit weird. It's cropping off the top bit, I say, so I need to... Silly paint. That'll have to do. Don't come bothered to make it all neat and tidy. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna actually save it again, so we've got a rough copy as well, because I'm gonna write all over it now. Now scribble all on it. So let's zoom in. Hey Rose, hi Firearm, how you doing? It's good to see you. It was a good weekend for the most part. Weekend was good, nice long walk with wife and doggo follow. But that sounds lovely. How's the doggo doing as well? Pizza. I want some pizza. I think that we're going to order some pizza this week actually, because I remember it was mentioned, so I'll be looking forward to that too. It's been a while since I've had pizza. How you doing, Firearm? Okay, so the winner of this one... Oh, I think I should make this a bit thinner. So just so you know, guys, we're going to be doing more story, related stuff today. We'll be doing story stuff for the rest of this week, actually. And the next poll will also be up the whole week. But the week after, and the week after that... until Friday, stream 200, we'll probably go back to doing dialogue and scenes, because we need to get a few things done there. But we'll return back to the story suggest-a-thon on stream 200 when we reveal the logo new title. But we'll be spending the rest of the week doing story stuff, because there's a few things to chat about, indeedy. And as for the dialogue streams next week, there's a few little bits we need to expand on, such as the Carol scene when she joins us. We were in the middle of that a while back. We need to finish that off. We'll probably be doing some polls there as well. Pick the favourite Carol dialogue line, because I know we had quite a few ideas in chat for what that could be. And we'll also probably finish off the Main Quest 2 final scene as well, because we was kind of halfway through that, and then we got to do some finalise and finish off some scene stuff. But yes, we will return to the story stuff, and the story stuff will be ongoing for months, so we've got plenty of that to be doing. The story stuff won't be stopping until we've literally got the whole outline laid out, and it's all done. Episode 1, that is, episode 1's outline and plot points in quests, and it's my favourite bit. And Sally's doing well. She had a good brush on Sunday. She's currently blowing her coat, so we basically had enough fur to make another dog. Oh, Fluffer. Oh, make another dog. You could make a dog plushie for her with all that fur. Would that be weird? I think that'd be cute, but I'm weird. Okay, so I just thought I'd let you guys know what the plans are. So story stuff this week, dialogue stuff the week after, scene stuff the week after that, and then Friday the 6th of November, is it? That will take us to for stream 200. I think that was what it said when I looked. We'll go back to story stuff then. Okay, so this was the winner of the short, simple title, Twisted Truths. Was the one that people liked most. Not too bad. For the favourite thing and thing title, it was Roots and Rumours. We got some pretty clear winners here, so it's pretty clear that these ones are the best ones. unless everybody just voted for the same one because you felt like it. But I'd say they must be the best ones. Tangled Thorns of Discontent won that one. Though Ava said something interesting last stream, to add the Thorns of Discontent without Tangled in front as well as an extra option on the poll. So I might do that. I don't think we can do any variations of the other ones though, because they're already sort of, you know, the way they're phrased is probably the only way we do. So that will leave us with 6 on our final poll if that's the case. If the only one we expand on is that one. Rotten Roots, Twisted Truths, and Where Twisted Through Travel. I'm also going to underline the one that won just so I don't accidentally put the wrong one on the new poll, because you know what I'm like, I get brain melt and I could put the wrong one on and that would be epic fail. So there we go. I've done it all right, haven't I? I'm going to save this one. Hi Moon Shadow, oh my goodness, how you doing, Moon? So good to see you. Did you have your tooth thing, the wisdom tooth? I've got to reply to your message still. And hi Mika, Bakaro, how you doing? It's so good to see you too. I hope you had a good weekend. I want it to happen now. Make a plushie. Make a plushie binary. Didn't expect my Shakespeare reference to actually end up in a light title. Well, that's what it must have been, all right, Mikaro, because that's what I did. That stream we had about 90 title ideas around about, maybe a little bit less than that. I can't remember the exact number now, and I shortlisted it to 30. So the ones that sounded to me the best, that could work and sort of linked in with the theme and setting quite well. I picked the ones that I felt personally were the best, and that was 30, which are all here. So now we're shortlisting even more, and these are the community faves, so we're going to go with these. So I'm very excited to see which one's actually going to win, because you know that all of these clearly were the favourites for each poll, by quite a lot actually. There were some that were shortly behind but didn't quite make it. So, are you ready everybody for this poll? I shouldn't have deleted the description. I was silly and I deleted it and I can't get it back. I don't think I've got it saved anywhere, unfortunately. I'll have to just write up again, won't I? Just do it quickly as possible. Hi Twinsy, supposed to remove it tomorrow, but I had to cancel, so at the moment I do not know when that surgery will happen. Oh, wow. That's good, because that means you don't have to be in pain, yay. And you will have it saved in the stream, so you could always go back afterwards and look at it. True. I'll do that actually. I'll look at a VOD. Just look at a VOD and copy and paste it and just type as fast as possible. You'll have to have some keyboard ASMR. Also, Van, I sent you a message actually. I thought it'd be interesting, so just so you know. Link to the character stuffs and that, all that fun thing. Okay, so I know it don't notify you when I send you a message. Okay, so I'm gonna get a VOD up. I'm gonna get incognito up so you don't get double rows on the stream. I googled rows like a silly Billy. As if I'd come up just from rows. Oh no, turn the voice off. Okay, so I'm just click on the VOD. And it's important to get the description in, because otherwise people aren't going to know what they're voting for, and especially those of you that perhaps aren't really following the story like rigidly. We have many viewers here that come in, hang out, lurk, but aren't necessarily following the story super rigidly. So for those of you like that, I think it's a pretty sensible idea to get a description up. Otherwise you'll be voting on something that you don't know what you're voting for. But the poll is going to be up for the rest of the week. For a whole week we'll have it up, this one. And that'll be super fun. And then next Monday we'll finally find out the winner, and we'll be putting up another poll. Carol the Barrel dialogue, because we'll be doing some Carol the Barrel dialogue the week after. I'll take a look. Yeah, Discord is terrible with notifications, not sure how to change it. Yeah, maybe it's in the settings. It's a bit of a strange one. And what engine are you using? Personally, I use Unity for my projects. Hi Nightblade, how are you doing? I use RPG Maker. I used to have it in my title. I took it out because, believe it or not, which I think is silly, it puts people off coming to the stream, because people get judgmental about engines and tools, which I think is a bit ridiculous. It's about the creator, not the tool. That's the motto here, and what we all think here. But I don't see, the focus isn't about the engine, it's just the tool, so therefore it's no longer in the tool, though it's on the website. It's all on the website, and that in our FAQ, what's used for everything. So it's a Smart project. If you want to have a look, Nightblade or anyone else who's popping in, if you're curious on how this project works. But yes, Unity's a great one, good for you. I'm not really a traditional coder of that at all. It's not really my key skill, so I just kind of flunk it. I'm more like better at all the other sides of game dev. But you gotta know some to put a game together, and I think RPG Maker's a pretty good one. It's not too bad, not too overwhelming. Not too daunting. Hi Mary, how you doing? It's good to see you. If I see Unreal Engine title, I'll run for the hills. Blueprints are weird, do you? See, people definitely, it seems, can get a bad first impression on the engine people use. No judgment from me if that's the case, fair enough. But just try and remember, folks, a tool is a tool. It doesn't have any reflection or on what the game itself is going to be like, because it's all about the creator and the design approach on what makes a good game, really, not really the engine. Okay, right, I've got the VOD now, so I'm going to quickly, as fast as possible, get this description in. So you're going to get some keyboard sounds. I do have a very loud keyboard, I'm afraid, but some peeps like it. A bit of keyboard ASMR. Can't go wrong with that. I have a very old noisy keyboard. I'm going to quickly get this in. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, so I don't want to dilly-dally with this today like I did last stream. Oh, we don't need that bit. For stream time, I'm going to really update today. Okay. It's time to vote for your favourite out of the shortlisted titles. So, and just a little bit of a description on what episode 1 is about, so you know what you're voting on, guys. Because the whole point in the title is that it actually matches very well with the episode and what it's all about. Though I'd say all the ones on the shortlist are match pretty well. But still. Rose keyboard is like me, often noisy. Yes. Well, never change, Moon, because we love you just the way you are. You're wholesome, Moon Shadow, and wholesome is something that's always welcome in this stream. Those are the sort of viewers I love. Not asshole viewers, they're the worst ones. Luckily we don't really get them here, not in the core community anyway, because I don't allow it. But you know, you get them coming sometimes, give a bit of cheek. But luckily it's not that bad here. Not too bad at all. It could be far worse. I'm going to zoom in, folks. I know you can probably barely see what I'm putting in here. So I want you to be able to read. Okay, so the first bit's in, but... Okay, so story bit. Now this is the long bit. Only 2 paragraphs, though. I understand if you have to mute me there, everyone, while this is going on. But you know, keyboard ASMR is like literally this whole stream, especially during dialogue stream. So, gotta get used to it. In the last 12 months, I'll narrate while I write it. That might make it a bit nicer. In the last 12 months, things have strangely started coming to life, such as barrels. Oh my god, barrels come to life in this game? I had no idea. Barrels, containers, trees, plants, and fruits. There is talk in Lake 4 from the humans living there about how dangerous a blue forest has become. Villagers spring up rumours of attacks. Some falsely believe the reptiles have returned. 17 years after the war, others believe. Yeah, all this exhibition, what the hell, that's not the word. Expedition. Oh, what's the word? All of that is obviously, you know, going to naturally be revealed in the story from NPC dialogue. You're not going to get like a massive like narration at the start or anything. That's not really my style of storytelling. All of this like key stuff will be revealed in NPC dialogue very naturally, as you as the hero player talk to them. Where were we? So others believe the forest. This is true, but some are in denial about it. Last 4 lines. There is a long history of hatred between 2 races, humans and as they have been indoctrinated with each have been indoctrinated with fear and hate. Facts been twisted or even made up. Not one of the races is evil. There is good and flawed in both. If I ever hear someone say that the reptiles are evil, I'm gonna give them good. I'm trying to think of something I'd do to them that isn't too mean or aggressive, but still, like, how dare you? I'll be mad at them. They say reptiles are evil because they're not. No one is. There's no such thing as evil races. Well, I don't think there should be anyway. There is good and flawed in both. Wakeful was once the home of the reptiles, but now they dwell in the caves within ever-blue forest. Done. That was all my fault for not that was my fault for deleting this. I should not have deleted it because I'm about to have written it all up again. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we got a logo up there currently. Raindrop Chronicles, a Twitch community RPG. That's everywhere at the moment. It's on our website, it's on our lore bible, it's on our press kit page. It's literally the logo. But obviously when we get the new tile, which is what we'll be doing the poll votes on for now, it'll get replaced. So this a Twitch community made RPG business will be gone. And we'll just have the title of the episode underneath. And every episode that's released from that point on will follow that same theme with the title, with a obviously unique title with each of the episodes. Kind of I'm looking forward to not really branding my game after Twitch anymore. I mean, of course it's a Twitch community driven game, that's not changing. That's still the heart of what we do. But I don't want to make it the focus as if, like, I'm sponsored by Twitch or something. Okay, so let's get the polls up. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. Moonshadow, you've nearly got 1,000 raindrops. Holy butts. Are you shocked? Are you shocked? Nearly in the top 40 in the leaderboard. Is game dev a professional job or no? I'm an indie game dev, yes, I do this project full time. I stream 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I work on the game every other hour of the times I'm not streaming. "67 raindrops, 3 until you're a shower." I saw a notification appear. Was that a host, folks? If it was a host, or something, thank you very much. It doesn't come up in Twitch chat anymore automatically like it used to. Just a little host from me, thank you, Moon. I tend to see it at the corner of my eye on OBS, but that it disappears before I can see who it is. Okay, so polls. Oh, what is this? Macaro, thank you so much for joining the Discord. It's good to have new people stop by. That is true. If you want to vote on the polls for Raindrop Chronicles. We do them now and again if there's ever anything really fun to vote on. There's a lot of ideas and we have to pick one, such as the title, what we're doing today. We'll always like put up a poll in here and keep it open for a day or for a week. We always do them on Discord because it's probably the safest way to not have cheaters and all that. It's very easy to cheat on websites. I know straw polls pretty decent, but you know, Discord's better. Let's face it. Okay, so let's get these polls in. I've already noted down which is here. If you look at our paint file, the winners. So I'm going to look at that, make sure we get the right ones in. Right, so I'm going to keep this on the other monitor. So, pretty easy to do a poll. I hope you're all ready to vote. I'm excited. But it's going to stay up a whole week, this poll is, so, you know, could drastically change compared to what it'll be today. Dobie, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. What should we call this now? So, what is your favourite title for episode 1 of Raindrop Chronicles? I think that title's perfect. We'll hide this. And then we just got to write them in. So, Twisted Truths won the favourite short simple title poll with 7 votes. The next runner up was 4, so this one pretty much kicked everything's butt in that poll. The second poll, the Thing and Thing title, Roots and Rumours won with 9 votes, and the closest one after that, the runner-up, had 4 votes, so that pretty much kicked us as well. Then, out of all the descriptive titles, Tangled Thorns of Discontent won. This was a little bit of a closer one now, but not enough for the runner-up to get on the poll. This one with 7 votes, the runner-up had 5. I'm also going to add a shortened version of this one as requested by Zava. I actually thought it was a very fair request, which I think is worth putting on. You never know, it could win. So we'll put it on. I don't think one extra one will hurt. We still won't have too many in the poll. It'll give us 6. So we got the longer Tangled Thorns of Discontent. We got the shorter Thorns of Discontent. And then we have like very poetic, resonating title. It's meant to be like that anyway. Give that sort of impression. Some people are partial to these kind of titles. It's all about personal taste. Short, descriptive, poetic. All of them work for me. I'm happy with whatever wins this poll. So Rotten Roots, Twisted Truth, that got 12 votes. Everybody liked that one more than the others by quite a long way in that poll. Okay, and for the last one, it was Where Twisted Truths Thrive. So they're all very foresty themed, that's for sure, which is what we want. We wanted all the titles to fit with the setting, as well as sort of bring in the theme as well. Every episode will have a different setting and theme, by the way. Episode 1 just so happens to be an enchanted forest with the theme of prejudice due to how the story has gone that direction. But then episode 2, which is going to take place in the farm and highlands, will probably very much have a very different kind of theme, which we don't know what it is yet. And it'll keep things fresh and fun to like explore different themes and storytelling Potter B mouth pooter coming out. Okay, so I don't think there's any typos here. I'm gonna copy and paste this poll just to make sure, in case we have to delete it in case there is a typo. So let's get it in. Oh my goodness, is it in? I'm going to just double check everything's fine. I'm going to look at our paint file, make sure everything's fine. So Twisted Trees, Fruits and Rumours, which Rumours is the UK spelling, by the way, with a U in it. Tangled Thorns of Discontent. Thorns of Discontent. Romance, Twisted Trees, and where Twisted Trees sides. Okay, so there's no typos. Thank goodness. I think it's all fine. Imagine if there was, and I didn't even know until next week. And it's too late. We have to have the tile with the typo forever. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to cross off the paint file now. You're free to vote, everybody. We've got it up, and it's all ready. So, hi Paladin, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Mondays are usually the worst day of the week, aren't they? But it can't be if I'm streaming. It's gotta be all right if I'm here. I'll make it a bit better, I hope. Okay, so I've sent you the link to the poll, everybody. If you're not already in the Discord and you'd like to vote for your favourite title, then feel free to jump in. The more votes we have here, the better. And be part of our community. Post stuff in the channels. Have chats with us, get to know each other, make friends, all that fun stuff. We have an Adorable Pets channel, we have a selfie channel, we have a creative work channel, we have a venting channel, we have all sorts. And we have an Introduce Yourself channel, which someone's just done actually. Thank you, Macaro. Oh, you found me for the World Anvil. Oh, talking about that. Macaro found me from World Anvil streams. I'm gonna post that I'm on in the streams. I need to not forget this. I need to do it every stream, because I always forget, and we might be missing out on making loads of new friends, which is not good. So I'm live. Actually, don't need to say that. We're voting on our favourite title for episode 1 of our RPG game today. Come hang out and take part if you'd like. My face. I'm good, lass. How are you? Not too bad, Paladin. Not too bad. Doing my thing. Nothing really changes much on my end. I'm just always a nerd. Always a big nerdy hermit. Okay. There we go. That's done. I see we're getting some votes. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Holy crap. I don't know why I'm getting so excited, but it's a big deal because this is a tile and it's going to be branded all over the place. And I'm going to, whatever wins, I am going to try and bring in some. I want the tile to look the same because I'm a fan of it. I love it. I love the aesthetic, the colours. But I am going to bring in some very subtle foresty sort of pixel arty elements maybe that kind of show the aesthetic of the forest a little bit. just a bit. I don't want to go over the top, but I think it could be nice just to get those episode 1 visuals in a bit. But it'll mostly look the same. So thanks for voting, everybody. I am going to note here, though, poll will close on, now what's the date next Monday? The 26th of October. If anybody, I mean, I try not to like cause any bias by, you know, I don't vote for my personal favourite on these polls because I don't want to like sway anybody or make anybody feel like, oh, I'm going to vote that one because Rose likes that best. So I tend to not make a vote myself for that reason. But if anybody does want to mention why they like a tile, feel free to. I noticed the Rotten Roots Twisted Truth one seems to be quite popular. That was popular on the shortlist votes. That got like 12 votes. And I am curious why it's so popular. But, you know, it sounds good, I suppose. That's probably why. But, you know, any of them could win. We've got a whole week of voting time here. So, things could change. Got three whole streams and a whole week to get votes in, so we could potentially get a lot of votes on this one. With the last poll, it was only open for the course of the weekend. So the poll will close on Monday the 26th of October. No, I'll say at the start, at 2 p.m. BST. Yeah, the start of the stream. I know that I usually start a bit after that because I'm always late. But are the clocks going back next week? I think it might be changing back to GMT. If so, I'll alter it to those times. Keep it like that for now. Poll will close on Monday 26th. There we go. At the start of stream. We're going to keep it. We're going to close it right at the start because next Monday we'll be having more polls. So, to do with Carol the Barrel's dialogue. So we'll have to remove that poll then. And that's why we're not working on Carol the Barrel's dialogue until next week, because I want to give time for this poll to shine and for people to get the votes in on this before we do any more poll stuff. Oh, the Discord server icon is real cute. Yeah, that is my tier 3 emote, I think. I think it's the tier 3 one. Rose Raw Bear. It's me dressed up as a bear. It's me dressed up as a bear. You gotta have something cute like that, haven't you? Thank you very much for the kind words. I actually made that one. I made my channel emotes. Pretty proud of it because I'm no like pro artist at all, but I can dabble. All right, so I think that's it with that. I don't think we need to add anything else. I think everything is there that's necessary. I am gonna again just give you guys the link to that, just so you know. Anybody lurking might not have seen. And I might spam chat with that link throughout for the whole of this week. But I think we're all right for now. We'll allow some time to let the votes build up. And have a little peek throughout the stream and see how it's getting on. Okay, so now what are we gonna do now? Right, so story stuff this week is the plan. I've got on my notepad file what I'm planning. Can I get this up? I usually have a notepad. Yeah, that's a little bit. I don't know if it can read that very well, chat. But I've like kind of made a plan of what I'm going to be doing until stream. If I make this bigger, you'll see. Yeah, I've made a plan on what I'm going to be doing until stream 200. So like this whole week we're going to do story suggest-a-thon stuff, because there's quite a bit I want to chat about, and then we're going to move on to actual game dev implementation the next 2 weeks, do some dialogue and then do some mapping, because there's a lot of stuff there that needs to be done. We're on the course for releasing version 0.1, and we want to make sure that we don't neglect that either, the actual development side of things. I mean, outlining the story is a ton of fun, but we also need to get a playable build out to play as well for folks, and I'm in the middle of that at the moment, and there's some time spent on that. But then we'll return to the story stuff, stream 200, and I'll reveal the logo with the winner of the poll. So vote in the poll because it's super important. And I've kind of like planned what I'm going to do month by month as well. So the rest of this month and November, I'm going to work on just making sure the dialogue and scenes for version 0.1 playable build demo, which will include main quest 1 and 2, literally just main quest 1 and 2, not anything else. There won't be any side quests, there won't be any like fancy features or NPC dialogue relay at all in the version 0.1 build. It's just main quest 1 and 2 minimum. So I'm going to make sure those main quest 1 and 2 dialogue and scenes are perfected, as well as doing the quest UI and options, maps, mini maps, sound, music, and then December I'm going to work on, tidying up the skills and battles and enemies, and January is going to be about balancing and bug fixing. And then hopefully, all going well, that means the version, the first playable build can be released in the winter. It'll all depend when my house move is, because I am moving house, very likely in the winter. We're not sure of the date yet because we haven't been given it, but it might mean that it delays things for a little bit, just because of my house move getting in the way. But that won't be till December or January, I don't think, at the earliest it'll be. So that's the plan. I mean, I've also sort of put it in the Trello as well. I've kind of updated the Trello a little bit. I've changed the labels, and that's the order that we're going to do things from now on. I'm trying to be more structured about it, but I'm going to cross that off because we don't need that now. Okay, one sec. Okay, so story suggest-a-thon stuff now. Let's get started. Get the logo. Show off that logo. Show off that Woody. I'm also just gonna make my notepad text smaller, and I'm gonna open all the community notes, which are here. Everybody was really shocked when they saw these notes the other day. All these notes, folks, all of this is our community thoughts and ideas for. It's so long, it's so much. Can you see how tiny that little scroll bar thingies at the far right. Yeah, we got a lot of cool ideas, everyone. Now it's only been like, a couple of weeks of doing this, or a few weeks now, is it? But that's another reason why I probably will need a break from the story suggest-a-thon for a couple of weeks until stream 200, because I want to get caught up on all these notes, make sure I've like really looked at them all and absorbed everything, get them put on our in little boxes, all the key ones that are workable, and stuff. Hi, Unstable. The dev in me wants to recommend a different plain text editor to Notepad. I have Notepad++ as well. I use that one for actual editing JavaScript. But for actual boring text, no, you can't go wrong with Notepad sometimes. It's just standard and plain. Although it ain't anything elegant, far from it. I like how it doesn't, it's not complex, it's easy. It doesn't screw up text formatting like, say, a lot of things do. I even at one point got into the habit of putting loads of notes in a private Discord channel. That was pretty an interesting way of putting things together at one point. Okay, but the Discord has limited characters in messages, and that got frustrating in the end. Notepad++ or Sublime Text? Oh, so why are they better? Why are they better than Notepad? I'm curious. I suppose because you can maybe format the text, maybe, and bold stuff. Maybe. I mean, I already know Notepad++, but I use it just for code mainly. VS Code is best text editor, yeah? I'm curious what makes these ones so awesome. Also, folks, poll. I see that we got some folks coming in, and we might just add some more new lurkers, so feel free to get that vote. I'm going to be spamming that now and again. Alright, so we're on to story stuff now. So that's why I've got a notepad file up. And this is where we were at the end of last stream. We were talking about the final choice, the climax of episode 1. So we skipped straight to the end. Like, we talked about how things could end and how things had gone. We had some interesting things were brought up, I'll say that. I haven't noted those down here yet, but eventually I'm going to get some ideas put in about that. But the interesting points that were mentioned, one particular interesting point, hang on, I'll just label this main quest 2. Because this, the way we've got it, the final quest, which we don't know if it'll be main quest 4, 5 or 6, we don't know which quest that will be yet, it'll all depend. But it's gonna, a choice we made in main quest 2, all the way back in main quest 2, is going to come back to haunt us, potentially. If we did something a certain way, and if we did another thing as well on top of that choice, freeing a vampire in a cave. So, because my style when it comes to RPGs, something I love to do is make, is for everything to, matter. Even little dialogue conversations, little quest scenes that you might not have thought would be a big deal, that you might have assumed were just plain old boring filler. Well, actually it's not. It's actually very key and could really matter towards the bigger grand picture of things. And this is an example. Some people might think, oh, that scene with the fruits, that ain't going to be a big deal. Yeah, let's just let them live. Well, maybe you shouldn't, basically. Things will come back to haunt you, potentially. There's consequences to your choices, basically, like real consequences. I know that some games say that a lot, that there's choice and consequences, choice matters, but a lot of the time it's just an illusion. But with this, there actually is going to matter. That's a long off-topic conversation, but the features available in them make them much more useful just about anything than Notepad. You'd have to try it for yourself, but when I was doing plugin stuff for RPG Maker and VVS Code was my preferred tool. Eventually became my text editor, markdown editor, anything in Visual Studio is too overkill for really. Interesting, I'll look into those because, you know, I don't tend to have any issues with Notepad. I know it's a bit plain and simple, but you know, it's always worth looking over things too, because you never know. Thanks for the recommendations, guys. Alright, so yeah, basically that's going to be something that comes in. So right, so these were we originally had 2 choices, and I was very rigid about having just 2 choices, simply because each of these choices are going to be so potentially complex and having multiple endings within them themselves. We've already got 2 endings here for choice A, each for choice A and choice B, and we could potentially have even more when we fill out the main quest even more, because at the moment it's very bare. There's a lot of blank spots to fill. There could be choices that happen in the middle, for example, that could also have an effect somewhere down the road. We don't know yet. It all depends how it works, and what happens, how it goes. But yeah, so although it's that we only had choice A and choice B, it was never going to be, every person that plays this game will only get these happen. No, everybody's game is going to be different. Everybody's playthrough is going to be different, should I say, because they could get a different ending within that choice depending on other things they did in the game. But somebody, I think it was Van, mentioned something that was a very good point, that what if you don't want to stand by any of them, right? That's an option too. Just let it all happen. Don't sort of stand by anyone, but that's going to have a negative effect in itself, because it could cause chaos. You're letting disruption continue, and the whole of Everburn Forest and Nightfall could just end up a war zone if you don't kind of decide to stand by one of them. But there was another idea to have a diplomatic route as well if the diplomat joins the party, so that's an option too in choice C if you have the diplomat with you. So there's a lot of little intricate little details here, and obviously at some point I'm going to want to list all these so I don't miss any and make sure everything's organised and put down. But the way this is written sounds very rigid, I have to say. So I was tempted to delete it because it can sound a bit misleading. It makes it sound, I've only deleted those temporarily, by the way, but don't feel like the way I'm going to write it is that you get that choice come up in a pop-up box, stand by humans or stand by raptors. It's not going to go like that, where you have to pick. That's, you know, that could be a bit weird. So it's going to happen more naturally in the way that it says here. So actually what I'm going to do is this, I think, just to make it seem I'm going to put it in brackets because it's more like your actions make that happen rather than you choose that like that. You get what I mean? So I don't want to make that the focal point, because nobody, that would be a bit weird for anyone to have to see if they feel like they have to choose between that. They'll feel like they're being a bit of a racist, which is not a good impression or not a good thing to, I don't know if that's the best way to handle it. So instead, it's more about what you do. So if you do go to Lightfall and warn the human villagers, automatically you'll have done choice A. You won't like literally have to pick standby humans in a choice box. It's more like if you end up going back and warning them, you'll end up getting choice A anyway. And same for choice B. If you end up kind of sticking with the reptiles naturally, you'll end up being with them. So it's more natural, basically. It's not forced. As for choice C, I'm not sure how that'll go about. I suppose you'd have to approach things differently and not do either of those, but we'd have to think about this one a little more. About how that you'd unlock that one and end up going through that choice. Hi Kung, how you doing? So good, have it been? We have missed you, you lovely human being. Yeah, it is always a personal preference, that's for sure. And this is why most games don't do real player choice. The branching explodes so quickly. Truth. Already looking forward to playing this game though. Could do with more games with choice. I agree. Yeah, it's weird because maybe I'm just a big nerd, folks. But the idea of like doing all the variables and organising all the possible choices is like it like really excites me. It like makes me feel so excited. So that's the reason I'm doing the game in the first place. I remember before I even started Raindrop Chronicles, I was like, how cool would it be to make a game where like you really make the choices really complex and you list it all out and actually do it and pull it off well as well. Like that sort of thought went into my head, and I thought I'd love to make a game like that. I kind of had thought about doing it for years, and I get excited doing that more than anything, any of the other game aspects. Well, more than a lot of the game aspects, because I've always, when I played RPGs or any adventure games that claim to have choice, I've somehow, even though I've enjoyed the experience, because I love any story games, and to be fair, even though I've enjoyed the experience, a part of me has always wished that the choice was a little bit deeper, and I've sometimes thought, I wish it, kind of went like that instead, so that I felt my choice actually did matter more. And I think that sort of desire for a game to be like that is what makes me get so excited about doing something like this. And I propose we don't try to resolve option C because the side quest might become very important in the outcome. Oh, how so unstable? If you've got like a sort of context to how side quest might become important, feel free to say. I mean, I always need to reread what you guys say off stream so my brain can properly process it. I don't always click when reading something you guys say first time. So I might even know the answer to that myself when I read it later, but feel free to expand on it if you wish. Oh, thank you, I missed you too. How's everything going? These plans are looking super good. Thank you, Kung. Not bad. We actually have put up a poll in the Discord today, so once again gonna say feel free to vote. There's a little description about what it's for at the top. Episode 1 title hype. The poll's going to be open the whole week, so you've got plenty of time to vote, and then we'll know the title. I'm going to get a logo done, an updated logo of the above for stream 200. So exciting time. So yeah, so yes, there needs to be some fleshing out. I mean, this is still all very bare at the moment, but it's the foundation of what we're thinking of, how we're thinking of approaching this. Choice C definitely needs fleshing out a little more, but I imagine it going something like this. I imagine that at some point the Rex character, the one who's the leader of the reptile resistance, the one who's most angry at humans out of all the reptiles, he will sometimes at some point make his at his plan to declare war on the humans and march down to Lakefall. He'll make that that sort of plan very clear to us as the hero, that that's what he's going to do. At some point just before the climax of the story, he'll do that. And then us as the hero, upon hearing that, will then be able to choose what we feel is the right thing to do. So either we, obviously, if we like the humans, we're going to be prone to going back to Lakefall and telling them, and you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to walk right back to Lakefall and have some dialogue with the humans, warn whoever you speak to. Or if you don't do that and you hang around with the cave and start sort of naturally agreeing with the reptiles and being a part of their little clan, then you'll automatically be part of choice B. That's kind of how I imagine it going. Like, it would all evolve very naturally. You're not going to get a choice that's like side with humans, side with reptiles. It's not going to be that forced upon you. It's going to be a more natural process. So whatever choice C is going to be, it will be more, it's going to be neither of these. Like, if you do something else that is not these, so whatever that is, it'll be how unlocked. But you know, it's still out in the open right now. And not to be dismissive of choice at all, just curious, and I'm sure you know more about it than I do, but is RPG Maker really suitable for such a branching project? I ran into issues when attempting something similar in RPG Maker and oh, how so, Ray Murray? I mean, RPG Maker has Relay branching, as far as I'm aware, is just very organised variables and conditional statements, which RPG Maker does. I know that RPG Maker does have a variable and switch limit. It's not like infinite, which is an unfortunate thing. There was a discussion we had a few weeks back when we talked about how we can best deal with that. I know there was a few links sent to me. So either I just organise it as cleverly as possible and make sure that I'm very efficient with my variable use, or I break the system and sort of find a way around it another way, because I'm not sure if there's any plugins that extend that. But RPG Maker, it definitely has its limitations. I'm not gonna like hype it up and be like a mega fan, because it isn't the perfect engine. I've even come across these limits myself when creating scenes, because I'm very ambitious with my scene work. I like to have it very animated and not so that the characters are just standing there talking. I like to do a lot of things. So I've had to kind of do a lot of hacks to get a lot of things working as I want them to. But I always think there's a way, you know, there's always a way to do it, even if it's a bit of a challenge, because I don't have the time to learn a complex software. RPG Maker's an engine I'm very used to, so either I continue using it and we can make the project okay, or I switch to another engine and take about three or 4 years learning it, you know. That's the thing. And considerations for option C: did the diplomat join you? How much did you I can't speak, favour each side? Did you directly or indirectly sway public opinion for any of the NPCs? How much have you done with the fruits and their plots, since the fruits have their own agenda and can employ their own manipulations? So that's some good ideas. I'm gonna obviously I'm gonna put those in my notes off stream and stuff, because there's some good questions. Of course, the diplomat joining will make a difference. If you chose the herbalist over the diplomat, things might go a different way as well. And thinking about individual NPCs is something as well, and our relationships with those individual NPCs, and thinking about how we talk to them and how that can sway things as well, how we talk to them during dialogues. So that's as well, because it's not just about each of the two groups, each of the two different cultures here. It's about the individuals in those as well, because some of them will will dislike, some will like, and will have formed relationships with many in each of them. And yeah, so there are definitely some things up for consideration there. That limit is one thing. The other is I ended up searching for things more than actually doing things. My way was to use another tool. Oh, so what did you do in the end, Mary? I'm curious. But it's always good to, I think it's sensible to like think ahead, because if anything ever does like shock you during development and you're like, oh damn, what can I do now? The whole game's ruined. That'd be bad. So it's always good to think ahead and think of these things, that's for sure. I had a bit of a problem with mapping, because I started with tiles, and then I switched to parallax mapping, and then I realised that parallax mapping wasn't working for me in the way that I wanted it to. It's a memory hogger. You can't, I couldn't do the seamless open world I wanted to as well. So that's why I kind of switched to tiled, because it ticked all my boxes. Tiled did with what I was wanting to achieve. And I'm very glad that tiled exists, because if it didn't, then I'd have had to have thought a bit harder on how I was gonna deal with things, how I was going to approach things. But luckily tiled did answer my problems in that situation. But I always think with game dev, problems are just the nature of the beast. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, that's for sure. But I'm going to try and organise, when it comes to the branches, organisation into very good tidy variables and all that is kind of what I'm going to aim towards. But I'm definitely, if anybody has any insight for how they've approached similar things, such as you, Mary, and if there's any other tools, any plugins, any scripts or anything of that like, feel free to let me know, because I'll be obviously grateful for sure if it's beneficial and helpful. Alright. Viking, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining our Discord. And polls, guys. Reminder again, we're getting some votes in, but this is going to be open for a whole week. There's no rush. We need the whole week so we can get lots of votes during that time. I'm going to put the poll in chat so peeps know once again. I was working on a custom engine for a while where I took the things I liked from RPG Maker MV, eventually Unreal, but the scripting options are terrible. Recently Unity with a custom framework, RPG framework, or another try a custom engine. Oh right. Yeah, so that would be a real learning curve, because you're learning a whole new engine, right? And you're actually programming yourself, aren't you, Mary? For someone like you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you are. I think I remember you saying. So for somebody like you, that learning curve is going to be a bit easier than it is for probably me, because I'm more of a creative and more of a storyteller and more of that sort of person, right? I'm not really skilled when it comes to code, I'm going to admit it. So I've got to just do what's easiest for me, that's not going to burn me out, not going to be too much of a big daunting, because it's hard enough making a fantasy epic as it is, isn't it? RPG Maker's very friendly in that way. It's not too daunting to dip your feet into. Yeah, I had tons of experience with Unity and Unreal before this project. I'm looking into making the tools available publicly to take that learning curve away for others. Oh, that's awesome. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yes, I guess you could see Raindrop Chronicles as a game that's going to really push the limits with RPG Maker as much as it ever has been. I guess you could say that, because I'm really going to try and push it as far as it can go. I feel I've already started to do that even this early on with certain things. The barrel scene in the wagon, the different animations I achieved in that hijacking wagon scene was a bit crazy. Yeah, I had to like really do a lot of hacks and stuff to pull that scene off usually, but I did it. So yeah, it's a game that's going to push boundaries, push limits with this engine, and it's going to be an interesting experience, that's for sure. So I'm interested. Ooh, I heard the name Unity and I came running. Yeah, so we've got a lot of devs that hang out, a lot of creators that hang out in this stream, Nightblade. They probably use Unity, so yes. Alright, so I wanted to just review this what we did at the end of last stream, which was this, but I'm not going to make this a key focus for today's stream. We're going to revisit this another time, because I want to like revisit it once we've got a more clear idea of the outline of the rest of the main quest, to see if there's any more little intricate details that will need to be part of this. But we've got the starting point here. We've got the very start. So what I was thinking today, I mean, this is all a big mess at the moment. There's a lot of boxes here which don't need to be here, but they were there as references. So this is like a big, like long, going to be a big long line of the main story outline and plot points. Eventually, this document is. That's the plan. So we've starts at main quest 1 and everything's very basic here, but I do want to go back to the beginning today because there's a few things I want to talk about. Where are my notes? Because I've made some notes. Alright, okay, so this weekend I was thinking of a few things. Sorry about that bang. I hit my desk. Okay, so I was thinking of a few things this weekend to do with our story, and there was a few interesting things that sprung to my mind. Again, more branching, more little extra details, more things that will make this replayable basically. Now I'm going to bring up. Okay. I would kind of be very intrigued to come across a problem where I realise that I can't branch anymore because it's got too crazy, you know. But at the moment, it's still, although it's very detailed, it's not too over the top just yet. So let's see. Dev Squad Unite. It'll be a long way off though. Been having stress-related health issues lately, so can't work on anything. Oh yeah, you gotta prioritise that. That's for sure. But it's a great ambition to have. That's for sure. Doing something like that. Get your votes in on the poll, guys, in our Discord if you haven't joined already. Hey, welcome, new peoples. Okay. So I've got a lot to talk about today and I've got to break this all down. So I'm going to think, should I do this on a new sheet or shall I do it at the top? Because we are kind of going back to the start, to the very beginning. We talked about the final quest and climax, but we're going to be talking about early game stuff now. So I think what I'm going to do is actually make a new document because this needs all reorganising and tidying up, so it's going to be better to start fresh because there's going to be a lot of notes to make on this particular discussion point today. I'll make a new one. I'll get rid of the grid. What's our background colour? I prefer the darker background personally. It's not too glaring for the eyes. copy that because I like how got all the text formatting in there. I'm gonna have to delete all the stuff we don't need. Okay, so as I always do, I do this. Because if I delete it, I lose the formatting, you see, and that always sucks. So what an insightful story outline, guys. Best story ever. Okay. Yay. Okay, so I hope everybody's ready and excited because I'm going to bring up some things today. This stream that have never been brought up before that kind of crossed my mind today. It's not anything that's going to like really change the game or anything, that everything's the same, but there's just a couple of little extra things that could just flesh things out a little bit more. So where's our little Bible? We'll zoom in so we can read. So if you've been on our Law Bible, folks, I'm going to actually give you the link so you can read along with me if you're not like updated with the plot of the game just yet. This is the key bit. Okay, so this is the bit I wanted to think about more. So Carol Barrel is the first character the hero, us, meets. She bulldozes her way into your company, and it's not long until you find yourself caught up in her quest. It turns out Carol was separated from family and wants to find them. Okay, so that's the plot. It's the plot, right? That's the whole overarching plot of the game. That's why this is we're going back to the start today, because we're looking at the overarching plot again. So I love that. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool thing that we've got Carol as this character that we're following and stuff. But a question came to my mind: what if the hero was more than just Carol's follower? What if he wasn't just tagging along in the quest? What if he had, or her, or they had their own motivation for wanting to pursue this family of containers? You know, because otherwise he's just, a follower. He's got nothing, no purpose himself, no motivation. He's just following Carol and what she wants. Which makes sense because she's such an aggressive character and a pushy character, but it also makes the hero look like he's got no backbone or purpose himself. So this is more for fleshing out the hero today, and I've got some ideas, right? So there's a few gaps in these ideas, and there's obviously a lot of fleshing out to potentially do, but I wanted to get them all down today and talk about. I'm going to make sure I know our document sheet is organised, and I'm going to put it in the ideas discussion channel later so everybody can read it as well if you didn't get a chance to today to get involved in the discussions. Okay, so I'm going to get that up now. Alright. So, how are we going to title this? I'm going to make the text white, I think, this time. Don't know if we need the text this big. A little bit big. Well, it needs to be big so you can see it. Why is there such a big gap? Yeah, the line height had gotten a little weird there. You know, I could do this in Google Docs, but I want to add some boxes and stuff to this, some flyers and arrows and boxes, so I'm going to do it on here instead. Now, I've got some text to fill out. First of all, I'm going to just write a basic like intro to these thoughts. I'm going to just tell you guys what this is, what's going on here, and I'm going to make a massive detailed doc together. Kia, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the whole year of being a sub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kia. Let's have some hype in chat. How are you doing? How are you doing, Kia? How have you been since we last had you here? Oh yeah, that's friggin' awesome. Thanks so much for the support. Appreciate that. Appreciate it tons. I think you've got a red raindrop, well, a red blood drop badge now, because when you've been a sub for a year, your badge in chat gets very dark. And the hero then has an opportunity for character development, exactly, unstable. So I'm going to get that all in right now. I'm going to also delete that because it can be a bit annoying to see that. I don't think it matters. We'll just think about formatting later. So right now, the hero... the hero's just a literal blank slate at the moment, which is great and works because you get to mould that blank slate as the player. And I want to keep that aspect, of course, because being able to mould your own hero is an appeal in an RPG like this. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we need zero purpose or have zero story or have zero reason for tagging along with Carol. So, just so you know, guys, I've got a whole idea in mind here of what the hero's purpose could be and what, but I've got to get it all down. And I'm not going to say that it's perfect. There could be a few gaps in the idea, and there's definitely a lot to talk about with it, but I'm excited to get it all down and talked about. So right now the hero's just tagging along in Carol's quest to find her family, which, folks, if you don't know, are these guys here. This is Carol's family, and if you want to read more about it, it's all in here. So yeah, he's just a tag along at the moment. That's all he or she or they are. But what if the hero has their own motivation for wanting to pursue this family of containers? The heroes... This is going to be so full of text by the end, but I want to make sure it's not overwhelming or daunting. I want to try and at least make it end up organised if I can. That's the goal. Get all thoughts out though first. The hero's connection with them. I'll say the containers will be specific. I don't call them the barrels because they're not all just barrels. So we've got a box and a cookie jar as well. So yeah, the containers is like really the name. Or one of them could be deeper than it currently is. The hero has zero backstory right now. The only thing we know about the hero right now is that they were a stowaway in Carol the Barrel. At the start of the game, the hero's like hiding in her. That's like literally the only thing. So all we know is that the hero at one point or another goes inside Carol the Barrel to get like transported to Lightfall. Literally nothing other than that pudding that we know about them. Thank you for all the hype, by the way, chat. And I'm doing well sitting in my recliner with cat in my lap. Oh, I'm jealous. I miss having my cat in my lap. If you've got any pickies you want to share, feel free to. That goes for any one of their pets. What was I saying? I've completely forgot my mind. I was reading what Unstable was saying at the same time as saying that, and brain is melted. Do you want a hollow hero so the character can put themselves into them, or a more fleshed out character with defined opinions and motivations? Definitely the first, Unstabled, because we can't really give them a personality. We can't give them a static personality and opinions, because you as the player have that, you can mould them. You'll be able to choose their morals be able to shape their morals with your actions. In different playthroughs, you could have like an asshole of a hero in one playthrough, a more compassionate hero in another playthrough, a wise hero in another, a foolish hero in another, a brave hero in another. There's so many different hero routes we could go down. So in that regard, I definitely am with keeping that blank slate as much as possible, but at least have a vague purpose. It doesn't have to be like really fleshed out or anything, in as much as the other NPCs in the story that are going to have super fleshed out backstories, and rightly so, because we want them to be very fleshed out characters. But the hero is going to be a bit more vague. Maybe he could have it, but just in a far more vague way, so we can still keep that blank slate to some degree. I guess, like, I'm thinking of Cyberpunk that's coming out next month. It'd be a game in a way that you can go any direction you want with your character, I believe. But at the same time, there is a sort of backstory to some degree that your character in that game will have. We should look at some other RPGs for inspiration that have those blank slate heroes but still have a backstory, to see how they got the balance right. Okay, so the hero's zero backstory right now, so this is a chance to give them a little more depth and consider who they were before. We can keep it vague and flexible. Oh my gosh, the typos. We can keep it vague and flexible to stick with our vision of them being a blank slate the player shapes. So a little bit of mystery there, not all the questions answered, because us as the player answer those questions, because we're shaping them. But there's still going to be that vague path, that vague backstory that's going on here, because otherwise the hero's nothing but a flunky. There's nothing but Carol's puppet, and that makes him look a bit weak. Like he's got no mind of his own. He's just pursuing Carol, and not even questioning it. Not even thinking, I can't be bothered with this. He's just doing it. So, I think it's a cool thing. But I've got this is where things are going to get fun, guys. Because I'm going to share with you my ideas now on how the hero is going to be fleshed out. So be prepared and get them all down. And whenever there's a point of discussion, to flash something, I'll let you know. And hi Rex, how you doing, Carlos Hampson? Happy Monday it is. Happy Monday to you. How is the stream going? Not too bad. And Rex and anybody who's just popping in. Exclamation mark poll. We've got the final poll up in the Discord. Vote for your favourite title, folks. We've got 6 to choose from. The poll's going to be open a whole week, so we can get all the votes in over time. Allow plenty of time for the votes. And yeah, it's still pretty close so far. Still early days, way too early days to say. Other than that though, we're talking about a really cool story element today of the hero, who we haven't really talked about so far. He's just been nothing but a nothing. nothing but a nothing, Carol's follower. So we're talking about how to potentially mould him as part of the main plot a little bit more to give him more purpose, other than just being somebody who is caught up in Carol's quest for no purpose other than just following Carol. So this is gonna, with the ideas I've got, is gonna really make Carol, the hero's relationship with Carol, far more complex than it currently is, which I definitely like. So this is the key sentence here, well, the key paragraph should I say. The hero's connection with the containers, or one of them, could be deeper than it currently is. Okay, so my idea is alright. We got a lot to talk about here. We've got a lot to talk about. So and guys, just so you know, I'm going to pop all this when it's done, when it's tidied up, this massive document I'm writing up at the moment, I'm going to pop it in general ideas discussion. So it'll be presented just like these were. Because on stream right now, you're not seeing it all at once. So it might be, you know, it might be a little bit confusing. But of course, if you have any questions while we're doing this, feel free to ask. Point out any plot flaws, point out anything that springs to mind. Okay, so the idea is should we bold this? Yeah. To add a simple addition to the custom hero creator. You're going to be asked another question. Who's seen the custom hero creator here? Have we got it anywhere? Should we get it up on the YouTube? One sec, folks. Let me just temporarily hide everything while I get YouTube up so I can link you guys to this, considering we're talking about it now, and want to make sure that anyone who hasn't seen it has. Okay, so here's a link, though this is an old version of the custom hero creator. The text that's currently in there, some of it I really love. I'll talk about this in a sec, but let me link you the YouTube video first of all, and now I'm going to get it on the screen. Okay, so just hide the logo for a bit as well. So we have a lot of I love the bit where it says looks like Boon Hero has made you a little pale because you're like blue in complexion. I love that bit, but there's some text that in there that might be reworded because it's a little bit cheesy, and we've added the option of non-binary and masculine and feminine body type rather than like male or female on its own. Just see there's a bit more fluidity there with your hero. But as you can see, you get asked things, which is what else do you get asked? You get asked what your complexion is, you get asked what your hairstyle is, you get asked what your class is, you get asked what your name is, and I think that's it. I might have missed something out, but yeah, so just first of all, before I started, I just wanted to let you to mention this, so that everybody has seen her, knows what we're talking about here. There we go. So to add a simple addition to the why isn't this showing up now? Let's get that right. One set, guys. It decides that it sometimes doesn't want to bring the internet window capture up, and it's always a pain in the butt when it does this. I'll have to fix it. No, go away. There. Done. Back. We're back. Okay, so, yeah, I've been dilly-dallying, but we're going to get it down. So, we're going to add another question to the custom hero creator, and this question is going to be everything that is going to answer all this. Okay, so where you are asked... Right, so this is, like, I only thought of this idea this weekend, so there could be plot holes with this I've not even thought of. I even realised a plot hole myself last night with this, but I fixed it. I managed to fix the plot hole, so it made something even better, which I'll talk about in a sec. Now, I don't know if Lucky Charm's going to be the right wording, but basically what that is a trinket, a special valuable possession sort of thing, an item that you start the game off with. Kind of, I think, is it Dark Souls that did that? You can start with a different item depending on what you pick, basically. I think it was Dark Souls. I might have got the game wrong. Again, more choices, more different heroes with different valuable possessions. So the branching could potentially get complex, but in a good way. Okay, so there's 5. I bet you can't guess what the 5 things are. You'll know when I list them. I'm going to unbold these though, because we don't want everything bolded. Recognize these items? I think they belong to somebody, right? So, yes, okay. Each of these 5, let's get this next bit in so I can actually write down my thoughts as I say them, because otherwise I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget something important. Hi Matt, how you doing? How you doing? It's good to see you. Yeah, things are getting pretty, lots of brain stuff going on today, that's for sure. I'm hungry. I need a snack. Also, oh, it's already come up on me. Oh no, it hasn't. Poll. hole. So what is the point now, right? What is the point? What is the point in having this lucky charm? Wow. Behave yourself, draw.io. Decide. Oh, there we go. It's worked now. Also, you might have spotted the plot hole. I'm wondering if anyone who's following this has spotted the plot hole I did, but I have an answer to it if you have. If it's the same plot hole, that is, which I'll talk about in a sec. Well, these. Well, there won't. You'll only know if you obviously looked at spoilers and read the Lore Bible, or if you're part of the streams, then you'll know, because you'll see them here. But yes, anybody who hasn't followed all that, it's going to be, obviously, there's no relevance to what these items are or where they've come from. Okay, so yeah, that's what they are. I think it's pretty obvious, right? Okay, so that basically means, if you're still confused, that the hero met them before. And he somehow got his hands on one of their possessions. The question is how at this point, which we'll talk about later. But obviously, he would have to have got it after the events of the flashback in the timeline. And it's going to be the reason for why he's following Carol in her quest to find her family, because he's got a connection too. He's got a reason. He's got a connection too. He's not just. He's emotionally attached. He's got to be somehow emotionally or attached to some degree. If we're gonna bring him in and have him as more of a purpose in this story. Okay, so then the bit that was the plot hole I'll talk about now. So first I'm going to talk about how this is going to affect the hero's relationship with Carol. And then I'm going to talk about how this will change scenes and with Oliver, Meryl, Elvira, Woody and Hank. Because obviously if you've got one of their possessions, things will go differently. And the other thing will be how the hero found in the first place. And how the events, what happens after the flashback basically. Because the last thing we saw, if you've been looking, since scene discussion, it's up here I think. Yeah, Carol flashbacks. If you haven't seen the scene yet, we've got it here. The flashback scene ends with Carol rolling out of the wagon and he's left behind by the car that's just been hijacked, and Rose has sort of tried to attack the hijacker, but we don't see what happened after. It's all a big mystery at that point, so we'll talk a bit about the events that could have unfolded after the hijacking as well. So, how much room have we got here? Oh gosh, okay, we're gonna get super long here. We could have done this in Google Docs, maybe. This is a lot of information to take in now. It's all going to just get sprung on people. It does. It's going to get juicy. Okay, so the plot hole was that Carol's the inventory. So how, you know, she can't see that, can't allow her to add the item. So this is how I sort of resolved that issue. Why is Draw.io like not getting rid of the underline? There we go. So yeah, she can't see it. At least not yet. At least not yet, because she can't know the hero knows, because it'll totally ruin the structure of main quest 1 and 2, and the fact that she thinks Rose is her only help and only one who knows. Hi Tox, how you doing? It's good to see you. Having a good day? Happy Monday. How have things been for you, Tox? How are things going? How is life? So the hero will refuse to hand it over to her. Okay, so this is an example. There's a scene. There's a scene that happens. Should we get it up? I think we've got the dialogue here. Opening new window. Here it is. Okay, so there was a scene we was doing, and we're going to do this more next week. Because there's a lot of room to flesh this out. We decided together that it was a bit basic before. It wasn't really. There's a lot of room for development here with Carol and the hero. And at some point, Carol hops around the hero inspecting the hero's pockets. Because Carol offers eventually at the end of the scene to be the inventory for the hero and what the hero can put their items in. She at some point, obviously, when she inspects the pockets, this is what's going to happen. So, when Carol is examining even in the slightest? No? Yes, just live by each day as it comes, I say, Tox. That's all we can do. How are things here? Not too bad. Getting really, brain is going like this with ideas at the moment, and I'm just getting them all down on a page. It's going to be like woe for the community, because it's just going to be a bunch of text thrown at them. Okay, so when Kyla's examining the hero's pockets, main quest 1, scene 3, she could be like, oh, what's that? And the hero could say, what games you been playing lately, Tox? What's been occupying your time? Is there any way we can make this dialogue a little bit formatted a bit better? We'll just put it on italics. This is just an example of how it could go. It doesn't mean like this is like literally going to be word by word text, but it's kind of like what I'm imagining. Shooters. I have a move coming up on the 1st. That's about it. Oh my goodness, snap. I'm moving as well. Moving house, that is, if that's what you mean by move. If that's what you mean. How's our poll getting on? Not too bad. The vote's actually spreading out a little bit more now. I'm going to give exclamation mark poll for anyone who's lurking, anyone who wants to vote. Gotta join the Discord though. Okay, so back to that. So, Carol could... Oh, by the way, I did the world map to the Law Bible, folks. Instead of the website. I think it just looks better there. Moving in with some handsome black. Nah, just the parents right now. Because I'm skint. And they're nice to me. Don't have to pay the bills. So, can focus on my dreams. And do what matters. For the time being. And Carol could say, can I have a little peek? Oh, can I just have a little peek? And Carol's obviously she's going to be very pushy, but pushiness and will. Okay, so obviously the reason why this has to exist, if of course we went with this whole idea, the reason it has to exist is because Carol cannot see this item, otherwise, yeah, it ruins everything. At least at this stage, she cannot see the item. I mean, at some point, if the plot allows, she could. If it can't be before main quest 2. It can't be before main quest 3, the end of main quest 2. It can't be during then, due to the whole sequence we've already got with her and Rose and the painting. Makes sense in the app. It's how the life is. I mean, you know, in the end, one day I'll be moving out, but not yet. Definitely not yet. I don't fancy having to get some job to pay my own bills right now. Chronicles, Raindrop Chronicles is my priority. Okay, so where were we? So it could go on to be a running joke, because Carol will sometimes ask during scenes she shares with the hero. If she can keep poor Carol. She don't have a clue. If she knew what it was, kind of just makes things a little bit complex, that's for sure. So maybe you get the chance to tell her the truth. Well, maybe you as the player can tell her if you want, but you can also lie to her as well if you want, and not exactly lie, but just not tell her. Each time and don't worry guys, I know this is a lot of information, well, for anyone here today. It's probably why everyone's looking today, because it's so much info here. But I will put it in the Raindrop Ideas discussion channel. A lot of people like these types of JRPGs. It's not my first pick, but you are making it, so of course I'll play it. Well, thank you, Tox. I mean, it is like JRPG in aesthetic, but it's in sort of gameplay. It's very kind of more, a little bit more Western. I don't even know, but it's inspired by a lot of RPGs of all types. It's kind of the whole sort of unique selling point, USP, is lots of choice, replayability, different things that happen in different playthroughs, different romance options, different sort of ways to behave around NPCs and talk to them, and different, like, all that kind of thing. So maybe you get the chance to tell her the truth each time she Carol's reaction. Okay, so yeah, be honest or lie to Carol. Just, you know, relationship, it adds to the relationship. Especially if she's your romance option. So right, I'm going to just ramble on about stuff, as I always do on here. So it's likely she will be yes, in bold that actually, because she'll be mad. She'll be very mad. I'm bold in certain letters because obviously this will just be a bunch of boring like massive text otherwise, so I'm kind of just highlighting the main key things by bolding, so it's not as boring to read. Slightly she will be absolutely furious when she finds out Okay, so there's one point now. This was another potential plot hole that I realised that I thought of doing, and would mean we'd have to add a little bit of extra dialogue to one of the scenes in Main Quest 2. So maybe even when this is the scene after the flashback, right? So at this point, the hero will realise, he will know the connection between Carol and the containers. He wouldn't have realised until this flashback. So basically, when the hero first realises the connection, you get a choice. Because in the scene after the flashback, all Carol's doing at this point, I mean, I'd show you the dialogue, but it's on another page and I need to tidy it up, so I'll just describe what the dialogue is instead in that scene. Because we haven't got Main Quest 2 dialogue in the Lore Bible just yet. But basically what's happening is Carol is moaning and she's on doing like sort of monologuing, talking to herself, venting about Rose, and that, you know, Rose can't speak and she don't know where her family is and all of that sort of thing. So at this point, obviously because the hero knows different, you can butt in or say nothing potentially. It's kind of like, well, Carol, I might know where they are. So you have the option to sort of be honest to Carol if you're an honourable sort of hero, I guess, if you want to do that. Okay, so you can, so during monologue, you can either, I'll say try to butt in, because you can't get a word in edgeways with Carol. That's for sure. So if I'll actually do this in brackets here. So if you try to butt in, she'll just tell you to shush. So don't know why it goes right back to the top there. Because at this point in time, the way that Main Quest 1 and 2 is written, you can't tell her yet, because it'll ruin the Main Quest 2 scene with the fruits and the rose painting. She has to do that painting of the reptile to lead to the reptile knowledge. and lead on to the reptile plot in the story, and that has to all flow smoothly and not be changed. So all this here doesn't change what's already been set in stone. All it is an expansion upon what already exists. All it does is give a hero a backstory. It's still very vague at this point in time. I can write a bit more in a sec about what that backstory could be. It gives the hero a backstory and a connection with the container characters. He's met them before, or at least seen them before and taken a possession that belonged to them. Could have been very in passing. He's not necessarily had a conversation or anything like that with them. He could have just seen the item on the ground and picked it up, or something happened, he came across the item and he's got it. But the fact is he's got it, and that item is obviously everything to Carol, because that's all she cares about, finding a family. So sort of intertwining the hero's story a little bit more in with this whole saga, this whole overarching plot just sort of deepens the sort of relationship with him and Carol, potentially causing a lot of problems if you liked her. And Roots and Rumours is the superior name choice. That was my vote. Was it? How is it going? Oh, it's a draw at the moment. Interesting. So obviously I like them all, because that's why they're all on the poll. All the ones I shortlisted, I was all sort of alright with winning. So I don't mind which one wins. I'm not going to vote because I don't want to make anyone biased. But yeah, feel free to vote. And don't necessarily be swayed by Rex either. But yeah, it's a draw at the moment by the look of it. I'm going to put it in chat again. Is there anything in particular you like about that name? Because I did ask chat earlier, I said, is there anything that's drawing you to those names more than any of the others? Okay, so yes, literally we don't change what's happened, all we do is add more, but there's some extra information we can add here. It's all going to be big, long, massive dialogue. Whoa, I wrote a bit much, haven't I? Oh my goodness, what am I like with my rambles? I've scared everyone away. It's just so much nonsense. Okay, let's get it all in. Because there's more. There's more. There's even more. Don't be swayed by me, choose it. Because it sounds cool, it's easy to say, and memorable. Awesome, yeah. So that's the thing with the longer titles. They might be a little bit more harder to remember, but I think, sometimes the descriptive ones are cool as well. They add a bit of a unique touch as well. But I'm for either. I'm not partial to long or short titles. Either works for me. But yes, it's going to be open the whole week, the poll. Whatever, I need to change this, so obviously this needs to get mentioned, because if we're gonna have one of them items on. By the way, these items could do something if we want. They could give us a passive ability in battle or something, perhaps, if we want to, and that would just add a little bit of sort of difference to people's playthroughs. That's just one idea. If we wanted to do something like that, we could. Start beating that poor keyboard. I know my keyboard's super loud. Gotta put up with it. Everyone here has. Gotta put up with it. Thank you, Milk Study, for that follow. Welcome to the stream. good to have you here with us. Okay, so the differences with the characters. So obviously what I'm going to do, because this is just such a big old ramble, and I know that, like, you know, a lot of people, this is going to be new to a lot of people. I'm going to put it all in there, like I said, and just let people know to read it if they're intrigued. And to share thoughts as well. So obviously this means in some playthroughs, after the hero found the, I'll say wagon or containers. We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about how he'd have found them. Thank you. You like my braids? Yeah, braids are very easy to do when you've got, like, just come out of the shower hair. That's for sure. And then it's all wavy when you take them out. Welcome now. Good to meet you. We are RPG geeks here. Some of us. Some people only come here because they like my accent. But a lot of people here just generally love RPGs and like to get involved with the game that we make in here. Feel free to ask any questions if you wish. Johnny, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so I'm doing a big old ramble today. It's very intimidating if you haven't been following the story, what's all here. But it's all stuff that's going to just give a little bit more layers, more complexity to the game. This isn't going to be a basic RPG. I get bored by basic. I like to challenge myself by bringing in tons of intricacies. So there's going to be times when things are going to get a bit wild and thoughts running wild and running mad. That's going to happen, folks. And because a big part of this stream is to just discuss story and discuss stuff. And that's what we're going to be doing this week. Next week we'll be moving on to dialogue things, because we've got a lot of dialogue to tidy up and sort of vote on and write together. But we'll be regularly outlining story and plot points for months. Came for Raindrop but stayed for Chronicles. Yeah, that's awesome, Big. I appreciate that you've stuck around. I just know you from years ago. That's why I'm here and have time to stop by for once. Tox, it's true. Tox was one of my first 3 viewers ever, I think, back in the days before I even was a streamer. As in, like, before I started taking streaming seriously. Because I started streaming a regular schedule in 2017, properly, but Tox met me in 2016. Back when I literally just streamed for a week and that was it, and then I didn't come back for a year. Tox knew me back then. Long time ago, Tox was one of the OGs. You all are OGs though, you all are, because everybody here now is one of the first. That's very special. And I've been a huge fan of Rose for a long time. Yeah, that's why Rex has a fancy bright purple first badge, isn't it, Rex? Do you still did the stream thing? Yeah, Rex still streams, not as much as he used to, but still is around, still does his thing. Okay, so this means some players after the hero found the wagon towns in the timeline. Where were we? Where's my train of thoughts? Okay, so basically they looked, one of them's going to look a bit different in certain playthroughs. Like, because if you pick the red ribbon, that means Oliver's not going to have a ribbon. Also, it's made me think about Oliver's character development as well, because a lot of you might not know, but Oliver's red ribbon, if you've seen his avatar. Oliver's red ribbon, why doesn't it have it on this avatar? I must have done the wrong one, but on his latest avatar, this is an old one clearly, because I haven't, on his most recent avatar, he actually has a name label on his ribbon with the word Oliver on it. And that's because the cookie jar originally belonged to a boy named Oliver, an NPC, who was going to live in Lakefall. Who is totally not fleshed out in the slightest at this point in time, but that is just one plot point we know about Oliver. So I've got to make sure I update that avatar with the ribbon, with the name. So that means if you own the if you have the red ribbon as your lucky charm, you can give it to the friggin' boy. You can give it back to him if you want. But that means that, you know, that means it could affect things, like you won't be able to give it back to Oliver. And no, this game's wild with its choices. Yep, I'm always streaming. My schedule is very regular, unless it hasn't changed much. Don't focus on other things at the moment, so the length of them have been shorter. That is right. This is weird to write. Meryl Braless. Yeah, that's right. Where's Meryl? Let's get it up. I'm actually quite shocked by what she looked like if she wasn't wearing that. I wonder if that would change her. Would she be less bolshy? Would she be insecure around Axel if she wasn't wearing that? Things could kind of go a bit different. She'd be a different person. It's the whole identity. No, it isn't. There's a lot more to Meryl than her bra. She is a person. She is a person. Elvira will be pipeless. Are these even words? Pipeless? Ribbonless, braless? Okay, what would Elvira look like without the pipe? Whoa, she'd be a different woman. I'm just covering it up now. It's what gives her the sass, isn't it? But during the car wagon hijacking business, it does drop to the ground. That pipe does. Just imagine all these items probably got a bit lost during the hijacking. Hero probably picked one of them up, right? So, okay, so, I thought about trying the streaming thing, but my personality is a bit vulgar, I guess more. Anyway, not sure the type of people I'd attract. My blunt nature tends to draw out the trolls. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're a streamer, you need to be very responsible for the community you build, otherwise things could get very toxic very fast. Very much so. I have to be very, I've learned a lot in regards to that. Anyone can find success streaming. If you want to give it a go, I'd suggest it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, you never know, you could surprise yourself. I never expected things to go as good as it did for me, I guess. Elvira would pipeless. Yeah, if she's not got a pipe, she would be miserable, right? Maybe she's a smokeaholic, not like an alcoholic, but a smokeaholic, right? And maybe she gets withdrawal symptoms if she doesn't have her pipe. I just think, the variation of losing their main possession. These barrel characters, container characters, is going to just, you know, change things so much for their arcs. And, you know, this is like important because these characters, these containers are such, I say they're the main characters of the whole game. So they have to be a focal point. We can't forget they exist. So I like that the idea of bringing them in a bit more, making them a bit more key from as early as the custom hero creator. I chose that Roots and Rumours as well. No one voted for it then, so I felt like I went against the stream. Oh, no, never. Don't you worry, Kung. Always vote with your heart. Go for your heart, everybody. Don't go with what the majority say. Just go for the one you personally think is the best. And then we'll get the best title, won't we? So I'm going to give you the poll command again. Chat, lurkers. Feel free to, if you say this poll is open for the whole week. I put it up for the full week because I want to make sure we get plenty of votes. I wanted to give it enough time to really get those votes up. Okay, so either Oliver will be ribbonless. We didn't talk about what Oliver would be like without his ribbon, but we did say that you'd get the option to give it to the NPC that originally owned the cookie jar, and that could really be interesting. Okay, so Woody will be stickerless. Now, okay, so the Woody thing is a bit weird. So right now, Woody doesn't have a sticker, but it was suggested in chat. It's hang neck, but let's go to Woody first. It was suggested in chat a while ago, like I'm talking months ago now, that Woody has a sticker on him just to, because boxes usually have branding, right? Warehouse business branding or some kind, so it's an option just for a bit of world building. The reason I haven't done the sticker yet is because we haven't built the world enough to even know what the business would be called on the sticker or what would even be on the sticker at all. Like, I'm at a real blank there. So at the moment I've put a sticker with a blank on it. I'm up for ideas, chat, if you have any like potential thoughts or what could be on Woody's sticker. Is this gonna work? Just write a little box here. I mean, considering like the container characters aren't in the present day timeline currently and might not be to the much future episode, bringing in like these little extra things that just remind us of them and keep them key in the story is an appeal to me. Okay, hi Zephyrus, how you doing? I'll try it after my move. Yeah, make sure you have a good internet as well. It's very important. I remember when you first met me, Tox, I streamed with like 300 bit rate or something stupidly bad. So, and that was another reason I couldn't really continue streaming at the time, because I didn't have a good enough internet, but we ended up getting fibre, so I was fine in the end. It's Raindrops, yay. Heck yeah, you chose well. I personally think it's the best one, but they would all work, yeah. I think even whatever one wins on the poll, I'm okay with. Like, there's not one on the poll that I'd be like, oh god, that's awful, that's terrible, the game's ruined. You know, that's the reason why I wouldn't have put them on the poll if I didn't like any. I only let the ones have a chance that had potential or sounded all right. So again, for anyone who's just come in the stream, Zephyrus, anyone else, feel free to put your vote in for the best ever name of episode 1. I'm excited. I'm going to be very excited to launch the title, reveal it on the stream 200 as a celebration. We'll have a party stream to celebrate. Okay, so where were we? I was going to say, feel free to give ideas on what could be on the sticker. Maybe, I mean, obviously it's Woody's sticker. I'm going to make that clear. Should I put them in brackets? Belong to Oliver, just so we know. I think I'm going to just make this a bit longer so we can fit more. Why isn't that fitting? Wow, Draw.io. There we go. If you have the pink bikini top as your lucky charm, you would totally have a passive skill where you charm the enemy so much that they would never dream of hitting you. Obviously that's too OP, so it wouldn't be that, but it would be funny. I have no ideas at the moment for what could be on Woody's sticker, quite literally. But I think it'd be cool if it kind of complemented or strengthened his character and personality in some way or another. You know, have a sort of meaning, just to make him even more funny and awesome. Skincare question: what products do you use to get an even skin tone? I really don't. I'm very minimal with my skin. I don't wear foundation when I'm on stream, actually. I only wear it when I go out. I don't do anything to it, actually. I just put face wipes on to get rid of my makeup each day. But I don't have like any special fancy products or anything. Simple bit of moisturiser and a face wipe is all I use on my face. So yeah, I'm very minimal with me. Etana, thank you so much for the follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's good to meet you. Hope you're having a good day. It has a smooth line. I think it describes the chapter well. Yes. For sure. I love the thing and thing titles as well. I think they're very catchy. So with that one, I wouldn't mind. People did seem to really like the Rotten Roots and Twisted Trees title. There's something very like resonating and poetic about that, which I like as well. I am excited to see what's going to top the votes. But whatever wins, I'll say this now, future episodes, episode 2, 3 onwards, they'll all follow that same theme. Of the title structure. So if we have a shorter title winner, like if we have Roots and Rumours, we'll follow this thing and thing title format for every episode for consistency with the branding. And you know, be a bit weird if you had like Raindrop Chronicles, Bob as the title, and then you had Raindrop Chronicles the day that Bob went to the shop and went to sleep as episode 2 title. You know, keep consistent with the structure. That's what we'll do. Geez, my face is dead then. Yeah, how come? I mean, it's just me. Everybody's different, but I've found for my skin, with the way it is, it just helps to not fuss over it too much, because I break out in acne if I put too many products on my face. One trick that I do have though is I drink a mug of green tea at least once a day. because it clears out all those toxins. So it kind of makes sure it stops me getting like any like bad acne or anything. Because at one point in my life I had breakouts and I didn't like it. So green tea, funnily enough, stopped it. Rose is a vampire. They never age and are super pretty. Thank you, Kung. Yes, I'm not going to age ever. I'm not even scared of jinxing myself because I literally don't age. I'm actually very confident of that. I'm going to look the same in 10 years. Okay, so yeah, I think we're all a bit blank on that right now about what Woody's sticker could be, so that's something we can flesh out at a later date. And the other one we haven't talked about is Hank. So Hank, an old scrap of wood. I mean, what else is it going to be for his item? A moustache hair? Hank will be, well, the thing with Hank, if he loses the scrap of wood, it doesn't matter because, well, he lost that piece of wood anyway during his injury. LOL, because he did. If anyone's been following the story, Hank, the old man barrel, where's he gone? Hank, the old man barrel, had an accident in the flashback. He was once a full barrel with not a single hole on him, but unfortunately there was a hijacking and he got a hole. So that means that parts of him might have come off in the commotion, which means it's not really going to matter. It's not going to really affect Hank greatly, the fact that that's missing from him in a playthrough, but it could, because you as the hero, when we meet them later, we might have the option of giving them their item back, and Hank would be very grateful. It could mean he could be fixed again. He could be fixed. We could be like, here you go, Hank, and he's like, oh, thank you, hero, you're so thoughtful. Will you please fix me up again? And you can actually fix Hank or something. That'd be lovely and wholesome. And Rose is actually 67. Hi Milk, how you doing? I am. How did you know? How did you guess? You're a pro at guessing my age. You must be a psychic. Okay, so these, and honestly guys, I've rambled on so much this stream about this mechanic, an idea, that it's not even funny. You're gonna all be so confused. You're probably all so confused right now. What's even going on? Especially because I'm only showing a bit of text at a time on the screen and you can't even read it properly all in one go. So that's why I'm going to take a screenshot and put it in the Discord later, because so people are kind of up on the plan and can sort of give ideas as well for the wish. Because, you know, it doesn't mean it's perfect. This is literally just something I thought of this weekend. It could have a bazillion plot holes in for all I know, and I want you to point them out to me if it does. I mean, I spotted 2 plot holes myself, but I fixed them and made the idea a little bit stronger, in my opinion, when I realised the plot holes. So, okay, so these small differences in characters may make things so slightly differently during playthroughs. Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, you know, when you mull over things, and I was like, you know, considering Oliver, Meryl, Elvira and Woody and Hank are such main characters, they really aren't the focus this game, are they? I was thinking, and I was like, it's a shame because they're such, like, you know, original characters. They're original characters that I spent a lot of time, like, really making unique. They have these unique features and parts about them that it's like, you know, anything to make them more key and more involved, even if it's just passively at this point in time when they're not in the present day timeline. I think for the sticker, I guess it would have to come from somewhere that would make stickers, so possibly the swamp further west. Interesting. Yeah, so because I thought it was a really cool idea when someone suggested it months ago, but I never got round to even updating Woody's asset with that, because I thought, well, we wouldn't even know what company or logo to have on the sticker, because we've not created any companies in the world yet. We've not done that side of the world building just yet. But something, I mean, Woody's a great character, and with the sticker we really had the opportunity to make it funny, because Woody's a funny character. He's the comic relief. He's a little bit deluded and a little bit overconfident in himself, so if there was something on the sticker that really kind of enhanced that personality, you know, it could just make him more of an amusing character and just kind of make him a little bit more distinct as well. He's not just a plain old boring box then, he's actually a box with a really funny piece of imagery on him, and it kind of gives an opportunity for him being a little bit more memorable. So yeah, that would be the thing. So anything else? The only other thing now to discuss here is how the hell the hero found the item in the first place, right? Like, why is he even got it? How did he get it? Where would he have got these? I mean, the straightforward one, just saying now, he found it. He either found it on the ground, because during the hijacking the cart would have like been going crazy. So either he found it, the simplest way would be for him to have just found it lying there, like laying there, and he just picked it up and was like, oh, this is nice. But we could like approach it in another scenario if we wish. Now this is something that's I'm intrigued about chat's ideas as well, because there could be multiple ways we could take this. We could take it as simple as he found it lying on the ground, if we just want to be simple about it, or we could really have him that he even like was in the cart himself, like went in there, found it in there, and even if we want to take it further, we could have it so we had a conversation with the character that he took the object from, or it was given to him, or he just stole it. But that would be a bit weird if he's a good hero. So there's just a bit of thoughts to think there. But there's another thing, obviously there's another key thing. We need a reason for why he's so adamant to follow Carol as well. And there's one way I thought of making that work, which I'll talk about now as well. Because why is he so like intense? Why is he like, oh my god, I've got to be with this barrel now? There's got to be a real motivation for him needing to go. So that's something to consider too. And I thought of one idea, but who knows, maybe you guys have other ideas too. So that's something we can talk about. I can share my idea, but if anyone has any others, then we can talk about that. So, but how did the hero find this item? So this is the next topic of discussion we're going to do now. I think this will probably be the last thing we need to talk about with this. So maybe the sticker came from a relative of the child who had the jar. Oh, the sticker is his, not the cookie jar. Yeah, the cookie jar, Oliver has the ribbon, that red ribbon. that goes around him. That's his special like feature. And the sticker is Woody, because it's a box, and boxes, you know, warehouse boxes generally have branding on them and stickers and stuff. So it felt like the most obvious item to be attached to Woody than anything else. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for ideas there, but we don't have to rush, because this content isn't going to be added till a future playable episode 1 playable build anyway. It's not going to be added in playable build 1. This is all just for future editions. So we got time, but you know, all this is about concepting and ideas. This whole chat's on. Okay, so right, so at some point I'm thinking, how's our poll getting on? Ooh. I keep staring at it. I'm addicted to staring at polls. At some point, maybe main quest 3. The reason why I think it should be main quest 3 is because that's the winding down point. We go back to Lakefall, we talk to Fiona, we ask around about the reptile portrait, we get told about the reptiles, we get sort of hints from the NPCs of Lakefall that we should either recruit a diplomat or a herbalist. And then it's kind of the downtime segment of the game where we're just wondering about Lakefall and getting our info. So at some point, maybe main quest 3, the hero could be alone, having some private time, pull this in a scene, so for a bit more clarity, pull this item out of their pocket, look at it, and experience a quick flashback. It's like a quick flashback, not one as lengthy as Carol's flashback, but just a flashback for the backstory, this backstory here. The purpose and what exactly happened, right? So now comes the time where we finally have to consider what happened to that wagon. And if you've seen that scene, which kind of has been posted in a lot of places, it was posted in the scene discussion, I even posted it in a screenshot Saturday on our Twitter several weeks back, the scene in the cart, the hijacking. So basically we never figured out, we never chatted about what was the fate of that wagon after the scene cut. After it cut out, we saw no more. So I'm going to say the hero, so I'm going to do some bullet points, folks, and in bullet point 1 I'm going to talk about what happened to Rose and the hijack and what they did, and I'm going to talk about the hero in number 2. So let's get a list up. There we go. So why is that all the way over there? There we go, that's better. So I don't know why the underlined is coming up for everything, but probably because I've been using it a lot. Alright, so we'll write bullet point 1 first. So this is my thought. Now, I'm going to just say initial idea, because this could go anyway. You know, the events, the sequence of events after the wagon, after what we already know, could go whatever way we want. Like, literally, yeah. There's a lot of room for where we could take this, but this is just my initial idea. So the last thing we saw was Carol roll out the wagon. Her family, all her fellow barrels, let's go back on the Law Bible, all her family were still on the wagon as he got hijacked and Carol rolled off, and everything was chaos. It was really jumping up. Barrels Hank had fallen, cracked himself, got a hole in himself. Oliver had fallen as well, and Carol rolled out, and then the next thing we see is Rose jump onto the wagon and take a big chunk, a big bite. Rose the vampire, because she's a vampire, she can bite people, you see. So she took a big chunk out of the driver of the wagon, the hijacker. She sees the poor man that was originally riding the wagon get killed, and she thinks that's harsh. She's got a good moral compass deep down. She thinks now he deserves to die for doing that. So that's kind of the reason why Rose jumps on that wagon and takes a bite out of him. And that's the last thing we see. We hear him scream. We hear the guy scream, but we don't see this guy's face. We don't know what he looks like at this point. That's why Rose's painting is key, because he's just we don't see him at this point as the player. So initial idea. The reptile. So this is what I think could happen. It's a simple one. It's a simple outcome. A reptile pushes Rose away, and she is unable to catch up with the wagon, but he got pretty injured from the bite and can't carry on much longer. Okay, just so you know, he don't die because we have to meet him in the cave later, so he obviously survives. But he's probably got injured. I remember some of you said a while back when we were developing this guy that maybe he was really hurt. Maybe his arm, he don't have an arm anymore, or some part of him was really badly injured from Rose's attack. So that's a possibility. We can decide on the injury at a later date. We'll keep it vague for now what the injury is. But yeah, basically he got hurt, so he couldn't carry on much longer, and he stops the wagon in a secret spot, obviously because he doesn't want anyone to find it, to get some bandages or help from the nearby farm village. Now we don't actually see this happen, by the way, not in this flashback, because not in this hero's flashback. This is just the events that lead up to when the hero appears. There's also things to consider, like, does being bitten by a vampire turn one into a vampire? I know that concept's been mentioned in chat in the past. It's not a yes right now because it could lead to plot holes. For example, Rose bites enemies in battle. Does that mean that would mean she'd have to turn every boss that we fight that lives? If we ever say come to a story point where we face an antagonist but they can't die, it's just a battle for story reasons that's scripted. Say if that ever happens, it's a plot hole if Rose sort of bites them, and then they're obviously a main character in the story, so they can't turn into a vampire, can they? So that whole concept hasn't isn't a thing really at this point. All we know at the moment is that vampires are turned into vampires from actual spells, not any other way at this point in time, because we can't say yes to anything unless we know there's not a plot hole or something seriously wrong with it. So we don't know whether this guy might not turn into a vampire if we don't have that as a part of our lore. Okay, so now we can talk about when the hero appears. So the hero could have been in this secret spot where the wagon is placed. Like I said, this is just my idea, you know, but it doesn't mean this has to be the way it goes. Like, you know, there could be all sorts of twists and turns that I haven't even thought of. But this is one possibility that could be workable. So, happened to be in the secret spot where the wagon was placed. We don't know what he was doing there, that's the question. I mean, we are purposely going to keep the hero vague, because they're a blank slate. We don't want them to have a pre-made personality or too much of a rigid backstory, because then it kind of stops them from being that blank slate that the player shapes. So we purposely are going to keep things vague, but anything that is important that needs to be fleshed out, we will, such as the motivation, the purpose of why we're following, that we're willing to hang out with Carol in the first place and take part in this whole quest shenanigans. That is pretty key to the hero's development, just so he don't look like some aimless follower. I mean, if you're romancing Carol, you could be like, oh well, I've got a crush on Carol, that's why I'm following her. So that could be one reason the hero follows Carol, but it's not really a proper purpose, is it? Especially for any player that's not romancing her. Carol's she's a pain to hang out with, you know. Who'd put themselves through that? Who'd put themselves through hanging out with Carol the Barrel? Would you guys hang out with Carol the Barrel if she existed here in our world? Would she be someone you'd be friends with, or would you be like, hell no? I'm actually very curious about that. Okay, so the hero could have been in this secret spot where the wagon was placed. Maybe he's in a bush doing a pee-pee. Yeah, that's one thing he could have been doing, having a pee-pee in the bush. Or she. Ladies can pee-pee in bush too. But we could go deeper. We could have it so that the hero was being attacked and the wagon scared off the attackers, so now the wagon is like a literal blessing to the hero. So when he goes inside and grabs this lucky charm, he's like, yeah, this wagon saved my life. If you want to have like meaning behind it and have it be a bit more symbolic. So would she be hot to joke, probably have small conversations? Have you seen a picture of Carol? Let's get her avatar up. It's crashed. Refresh the page. Has my internet crashed? Stream's still running, isn't it? Probably have small conversations. She's a sassy one, but she's very hot-headed. Very hot-headed and tempered. You know, you'd have to... Takes a lot to tame Carol. Oh no. Crap. Am I still connected? I'm a bit worried now because World Anvil, or is that World Anvil that's broke? because I've just had an error come up, but it might be related to the World Anvil server, not anything to do with my end. It looks like I'm okay because everything else is working. Thanks for letting me know, Mary. I appreciate that. Okay, so looks like I can't show you Carol's avatar because he decided to break. She's up there though in the banner, I think. I can't remember being. Okay, so okay, so holy crap, it's already 6 PM. This is what happens when I ramble on. This is what happens when I ramble. Time goes super fast and I didn't realise what the time is. I don't want to end stream yet. Give me a minute. I'm going to just find out when my dinner's going to be, because I could do with another 10 minutes of getting nights down. So, quick BRB. I am back. Okay, I can carry on for another 10 minutes or so, so we're all good. Okay, just because I really want to get the rest of these notes in before we end today, because I want to be able to post the whole screenshot on the Discord in the ideas channel for you guys, because some of you will probably want to know what this is all about. Okay, so I have to get some stuff in quickly. Maybe they were doing a peep. I'm actually going to seriously write that. Maybe, or develop it more. Where, you know, that's like literally just the funny version that has no substance. Or if you want to develop it more, maybe the hero is getting attacked and the wagon scares the attackers away. So or he uses the wagon to hide from the attackers. I should say they, because really we don't have an identity for the hero. This would mean the containers here, someone move and most likely pretend they are not alive and hide their faces. Just as a brief summary for those that don't know, our containers, which you can't see because World Anvil's not working, but their faces obviously, but it's very likely that they don't just reveal their faces to just any person that's hanging about. They're still a bit sensitive about that, because people would freak out if they saw living barrels and living containers when it's all such a new thing to this world. And to kind of avoid any potential conflict, they probably do pretend they're not alive if there's a stranger there. You know, Carol was very brazen when she introduced us out there. She didn't care, but that's part of Carol's personality. But And, you know, she kind of felt she had to show herself at that point because she wanted the hero to get out of her. She'd had enough. So that, I'd say most likely pretend they're not alive, but I'm definitely, if anyone has a sort of version of this story where they are alive, then I'd still be intrigued to hear that, because this is just my version. This is just my initial idea, folks, of how things could have gone down here. So the hero would be saved by a team working for a main antagonist. Working for a main antagonist, yes, well, indirectly, I guess, because it's not like this, the reptile who's parked at the secret spot, is aware that the hero's there. He's just parking it there because he thinks it's secret and safe and a bit out the way, while he rushes off to the village to get some bandages for his injury from Rose. But yes, that is kind of what has happened here. The wagon has saved the hero's life. I guess if it would be a way to sort of do this and for it to make sense, and why it would be his lucky charm, this item that he grabs because it saved him. And we don't know who the attackers are. Presumably it could be someone who lives in the farmlands, or a faction that lives in the farmlands, a group of bandits from the farmlands maybe, but at this point in time they're a question mark. They'd probably be developed later on in the story when we get to episode 2. So they'd hide their vases. The hero hides inside. I mean, the reason to give him an excuse for why he's gone inside the wagon in the first place, the hero, would be because he's hiding from the attackers, right? Otherwise, why would the hero go in the wagon unless he's just some looter? And it kind of makes him feel a bit morally malicious if he's a looter. And some people might be playing as a good hero. Now wouldn't want to loot the containers. So for it to be more of to be a little bit more something like this could work better maybe. Leaves when it's safe. So the looting thing needs developing, because right now I'm not satisfied that our hero's a looter potentially, but we could say there could be a series of hero choices that happen in the flashback to show the thought process of why the hero took the item. It may not necessarily need to be malicious like looting, because it is very likely, I mean, let's face it guys, it's very likely that the wagon's a complete mess. There's just been a hijacking, the wagon's been jumping all over the place, the barrels have got broken, well, Hank, from the accident. So it's very likely that after the hijacking, it's a huge mess inside the wagon. The items, or one of the items, the one that the hero picked, could be just there lying in front of them, and they pick it up innocently, not realising it belonged to someone. I mean, the hero wouldn't know that they were alive, so they're not looting to them, they're just picking up something that they're going to see as a lucky charm from this point on. Hi, what game engine user? Hi Dalek, how you doing? I apologise for the slow reply. I'm using what I use for my game. The game development is RPG Maker. And right now we're working on story concepts, although I am in the process of working on a playable build for release. Welcome to the stream. And then something the reptile says gets the hero curious about how the item was obtained. Ooh, I'm intrigued. As in the reptile, that's the hijacker reptile guy that Rose injured. About how the item was obtained. If you want to expand on that, Met, feel free to, because I'm curious. My brain's melting now, as it always does, so I can't process it properly. But anything that involves character development and consequence is always good from what's happened. So the items, or one of the items, could have been loose on the ground in front of the hero when they climbed in the wagon and no longer attached to that container. So then they haven't been a thief. It's nice. He took it for nice reasons, which is a lot nicer than some loot and just ripping Meryl's bra off. Like, what sort of horrible hero would do that? Okay, so, but I have to question why a hero would see a bikini top on the ground and be wanting to pick it up. That's why I said there could be a series of hero choices that happen in the flashback, like thought processes. Maybe he's like, oh, a bra. That'd be nice to wear one day. It's a pretty bra. I could attract my crush with that bra. And then he grabs it. Hello, are you a writer? I guess I am. I'm an aspiring writer that wants to write a good story, Kevin. Feel free to ask, although I am in a bit of a rush at the moment. I mean, I was meant to have finished stream 10 minutes ago. So I might have to rush off today, sadly, but trying to get everything in before we finish. So, I had said earlier that instead of looting the item, the reptile could have given the item as payment for bandaging him. Oh, that's an interesting one as well. Interesting sequence of events. So, yeah, chat, feel free to share any, because this is just my idea here, you see, and I've got a workable idea because I need one. We need at least one, don't we, you see? But if you guys are getting any ideas going through your mind as well while we're talking about this, feel free to share, because it could turn out that any other suggested ideas actually are a better or even more intriguing fit. So I'll get that one saved, Matt. There's one more point I want to make though. So this is the only thing, because this is the important bit now. Because this is all we've written here is how we know that he found the item. This is how he's found the item. But why would he care so much about finding the wagon again with Carol? Well, this was my reason why, which I'm going to bold. To give. Now, I do like Met's idea, but the only question is how that would work with this potential point here. To give the hero a purpose for tagging along with Carol so willingly and wanting to find this wagon. Because this is a key thing, because otherwise all of this doesn't even make sense. The whole bit I've highlighted here, but what if the hero has their own motivation for wanting to find the family containers? I mean, something needs to make him desperate to go back, right? He needs to go back, because right now just simply picking up an item is not enough, like, for him to think, oh, I've got to go back and give it to that poor barrel or poor container I took it from. I mean, an honourable hero would probably think that, but not every hero, maybe it's not enough of a motive. So my idea was pretty simple, but again, you guys might even have a better motive. This is literally just one motive. My purpose, my idea, I'll do it like this, I'll say it up like this. put in brackets, because obviously Met might have an idea that goes with his better than what mine is. But if we get more than one idea, I'll eventually obviously get all the scenarios listed, and we'll pick our favourite. I'll do a poll or something. So I think mine's really simple, like very, very simple thing that could have happened in all these shenanigans and chaos. As the hero left the wagon, they accidentally dropped something from their pocket, something very important. I mean, this could still work with Mets. We could still have been in the wagon, hid, and something drops out, and then the reptile comes back, and then we can still do all that sequence of events. Maybe there's a way to make it work still. Met uses Game Maker. Cool. Interesting. I've always said I'd learn Game Maker if I was ever doing a genre that wasn't an RPG in the future. If I was ever going to try a different sort of game genre, I would have a go at Game Maker. But for our project, the style of it, RPG Maker works quite well. Something very important, it fell out. So the obvious reason it would have fell out, this item of the heroes, as they pull the barrels, the containers item in, like, but that's how that would work with this approach anyway. So oops. Right, this item could be anything, by the way. It can be whatever works best for the hero's backstory. The hero realises they need to find that wagon so they can retrieve it. And the item is the hero's backstory. That's basically it. And they need it back, and it's on the wagon. So it gives him a purpose, and he's kind of betraying Carol. Carol thinks, oh, you're helping me find my family, you're so kind. Falls in love with the hero as the romance blossoms for being a companion on the journey. It turns out he had his own agenda, or they had their own agenda all along, because they had this item that was after, and Carol was going to be so mad. Make them break up. So that's it really, and really the item idea is just my idea, by the way, for a purpose and motivation, because it was the simplest and easy to think of, and it could fall out of our pocket, or the reptile could have pickpocketed it while handing us the item from the containers. Yeah, so that's what I mean. There could have been, if we decide we want to go with the reptile route of helping do the bandaging up, and he gives us the item as a thank you, if we decide we like that more, and actually kind of do, to be honest. We'd have to have a think about why that one could work out potentially better over this one. But if we do go for that one, then we could still make it work that we drop something, or like you say, somehow something that makes it's easy that item, like leaving an item behind, a very important item, is the sort of trope that's very easy to, make it work with I need to go back there and get it again, sort of thing. Especially if that item is like frigging important, like in a way that it would destroy the hero if anybody had their hands on that item, or anybody had it who shouldn't have. So it would probably need to be an accident, because then he realises after that he's left it behind and needs to go back, and he's like, oh crap, I need to go back, because nobody can ever see that item ever. So item ideas, which I'm going to put here. Feel free to give some item ideas, chat. I've got an item idea, but it's like just the first thing that comes to mind, and I don't have any like potential, any plans of how this item would work. No idea at all, but it was just one item that sprung to my mind. A letter. Keeps things a bit mysterious, like what's in that letter, but and people would fear others getting hands on a special letter, wouldn't they? Because nobody should ever read what's in a letter. It could be a bit dangerous, a bit of like. So that's but I'm willing to, if anyone's got any other ideas for cool item ideas that the hero could have had that are very important to him, feel free to say, because we'd think of scenarios and backstory for these items, and we'd decide together which item works the best for the hero to have. We'll get rid of but I need at least one, just in case nobody's got any ideas. I need to have one at least, so that we can at least make it work that way. Thanks for your feedback, chat. Met, thanks for your idea. I'm going to reread any notes like that off stream before Wednesday's stream, so that I'm fully like aware of it, and I've considered it, mulled over it. We'll revisit this again on Wednesday's stream, at least for the first part of it, and do any necessarily fleshing out that needs to be done. And then we might move on to another story element on Wednesday as well, because this was a pretty important story element. I think fleshing the hero out more, giving him a purpose, making the barrel character containers a bit more key in the overarching plot, rather than just being in one single flashback and that's it, never to be seen again until episode 3 or 4. I think I like making them pushing them more to the front with this item as well, making the hero have a bit of connection with them in this way. So I'm going to catch up with chat before I head off. I think Game Maker and RPG Maker are the best choices for RPGs, though not online. Game Maker can't handle MMO very well, but I know at the lower end of RPGs it's much easier for GM. Yeah, RPG Maker's like really good. Like I always say, there's definitely the limitations with RPG Maker, but my goal is to push the boundaries. I see Raindrop Chronicles as an RPG that's really going to push RPG Maker to its max in terms of what it can do. So it's gonna have that's an achievement in itself to say you've done that with an engine and pushed it as far as it can go. Thank you, Mid. Yeah, I've got my plats today. How you doing, Mid Sega? Heck, with Game Maker these days, you can put whole RPG on your website with HTML module. Game Maker seems a fantastic piece of software, that's for sure. Definitely want to learn it in my lifetime at some point. Maybe the containers item has some magical property, and we're assigned by someone to track down the source. It's interesting. So I think it's very flexible. This lucky charm that we choose as the hero, I think we can do so much with that item. It can have a passive ability in battle if we want it to, that sort of gives us a different stat. It can change our relationship with the character that owned it originally. We have the option to give it back to them or not give it back. It fleshes out Carol and the hero's relationship and adds complexity to it. I think this idea adds a lot to the story in a pretty wild way, but I think that it could potentially just make things more interesting. So sorry I couldn't help much today. I've been busy with work. No worries, Van, it happens. But you've got the VOD you've got the VOD, so feel free to look back, and this will get posted in the Discord as well in the Ideas channel, but probably not until Wednesday's stream maybe. Or I'll see, because I might put it in before then, if I can make sure it's all tidied up and presented okay. How much longer are you going to be online? Not much longer at all. I've gone overtime today and my dinner's going to be ready in moments. But I only went overtime because I needed to get all this down in time before leaving. Like, if someone can tell it has raindrop related magic, the bank could hire the hero as a detective. But if the hero loses an item, maybe an amulet locket. Interesting. So I'm going to read that as well off stream and have a good think about it. And we're gonna talk about this again next stream. But so get all your ideas in now, and then I'll be able to read them off stream between now and then, and I'll have full understanding then by Wednesday, because it'll have sunk in and I'll have processed it. It can't do everything. Yeah, everything's got its limits. You gotta just be a smart game dev and think of ways around it. Well, Rose, if you want to make a simple RPG using Game Maker sometime, I can help. Can also give you a basic RPG engine to learn from and use if you want. Interesting. I've always thought if I was going to use Game Maker in the future, like I'm talking when Raindrop Chronicles has come to an end in like 50 years time, well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, like in about 10 to 12 years time, or whenever it comes to an end, I'll be my game dev passion won't go away. I'll be wanting to explore other games, other genres even, potentially, and Game Maker's always been an appeal for the future once this project's over. And okay, 777 raindrops, awesome. That's a good number. Okay, folks, so I am going to drop us off somewhere. I mean, it is very late. I'm not going to be able to stick around in this stream that we raid because my dinner's going to be ready very, very soon. But I like to, if I can, I do like to go past the love. So I'm just having a look who's on today. We'll go to Dramikins because she's doing stream avatar art, and we love stream avatars here, don't we? We've got stream avatars down here, so go and check out Dramikins doing some art for stream avatar. She does pixel art and stuff, so I love the visuals of the stream. She's using I think it's Asprite, the software, the pixel art software, which has always been an interesting software. Okay, take care, guys. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, Midsega, Kung, Mid, Zephyrus. I hope I've not missed anyone's name. Take care, everybody. You're all the best.